Okay, so we're given the coordinates where the towns are located. So this is one of the towns at A, right? So what is the point where the first town is located on the map? 1, 8, and then the other town is located at 5, 2. So they're telling us that the company wants the landfill to be the same distance from each town. So maybe the landfill's here or here, but it has to be the same distance from each town. And in order to figure out all the possible locations, we're trying to find something called a perpendicular bisector, or it can be also referred to as a right bisector. So you're trying to find a line that is perpendicular to AB. So I'm going to draw a line from AB. We're trying to figure out a line that's perpendicular to that, which means that it passes through it at a 90-degree angle, but it's not going to be over here, because if you think about it, look at this. If the landfill was here, is that the same distance from B as it is from A? No, that doesn't make sense, right? So all possible locations are going to be on any point of the line that runs through the midpoint. So I'm going to call this M of AB. So it bisects, so it goes halfway through AB, and it's perpendicular to AB. So any single point on this line will be the same distance from B, it will be the same distance from A. If it's perpendicular to it, it will have the same distance. So we're trying to find the equation of the perpendicular bisector. So the only thing we know about this line, the red line, the perpendicular bisector, the only thing we can figure out right now is the midpoint. We can find a point on that line, right? So find the point. Find the midpoint of AB. Whatever that point is, that's going to be part of the perpendicular bisector. So we're trying to figure out midpoint of AB. And what's the formula for finding the midpoint? What's the equation? X1 plus X2 divided by 2 plus Y2 divided by 2 will give us the coordinate. We're taking our X's, we're adding them together and dividing them by 2. So what are the two X's? 1 plus divided by 2, and then I'm taking the two Y coordinates, 8 plus 2, and I'm dividing them by 2. 1 plus 5 is 6 divided by 2, and then 8 plus 2 is, so what is the midpoint? 6 divided by 2 is 3. So 3, 5, and if you look at the graph, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I actually hit it right on the dot. Remember, the main goal of this is to find an equation of a line. When you're finding an equation of a line, you need to figure out what is the slope of the line and what is the y-intercept of the line. This line is perpendicular to the blue line, so we can actually figure out the slope, because if they're perpendicular, we know that the slope of, I'm going to call this CD, has to be a negative reciprocal of what? Of AB. Remember back in grade 9, if you find the slope of one line, you know that if a line is perpendicular to it, it's a negative reciprocal. So the slope of line CD is the negative reciprocal of AB. So what do we have to find now to figure out the slope? We're going to figure out the slope of AB, because whatever that is, we know that the slope of CD has to be a negative reciprocal. So everyone find the slope of AB. So we're finding the slope, use the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is x and y, this is x and y. Plug it in and find the slope of AB. We're finding the slope of point AB. So 2 minus 8, I should have done the other way, that's fine, over 5 minus 1 equals, so the slope is negative 6 over 4. We're going to write that in lowest terms is negative. So that was the slope of line AB. Remember, we're trying to figure out the equation of a line that is perpendicular to AB. So I know we just figured out the slope of AB. I know that the slope of CD is a negative reciprocal. And so what does the slope of CD have to be? Is it going to be a negative slope or a positive slope? Yep. Positive, what? Reciprocal. What's the reciprocal of 3 over 2?
2 over 3.
Okay, so we just figured out M. Remember, to find an equation of a line, you need to know what M is equal to, and you need to know what B is equal to. We just figured out M. We figured out M. M is 2 over 3. How can you figure out B? Do I have a coordinate? Do I have an X and a Y? Do I know a point on the red line? Which point do I know, Nicole? What point do I know is on the red line? Good, it was the midpoint. Because we had figured out the midpoint, we know that the point 3,5 is on the red line, so we know X, we know Y, we know M. Can you plug it all in and find B?
Yes.
Okay, so I know the point, so I know my X and my Y, and I know M, the slope was what? 2 over 3. So we're going to plug everything in to the equation because the whole point of this was we were trying to find the equation of a line that's perpendicular to that. So X, Y, and M. Plug it in and we're going to isolate for B. So Y is 5, M is 2 over 3. So I'm going to write X as a fraction, 3 over 1 plus B. So multiply fractions. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3 plus B. What's 6 divided by 3? Plus B. I need to isolate B. 5 take away 2 because I'm taking away 2 from here. 5 take away 2 is 3. That does not answer the question. The question said determine all the possible locations. So all possible locations are located at what? What is the equation of the line? Y equals
2 over 3.
So this will determine where all the possible locations would be anywhere on that line.